Imagine for a second the best version of you, like the 5 to 10 year plan version. That version of you is born into existence the exact moment you decide to start working towards that. Not when you reach some arbitrary goal or X amount of time. That means we can meet the best version of ourselves today. And today, I am both a dressmaker and a flower farmer. I decided to become a dressmaker a couple years ago after realizing that working in healthcare was gonna drown me. YouTube taught me how to draft my own sewing patterns, install zippers, change the thread on my overlocker, and market my brand. Fast forward to my very first launch of aprons and selling out within minutes, alhamdulillah, and now it is a full-time job that I cherish so incredibly much. I decided to become a flower farmer a couple weeks ago. I was promising myself to get some rest and relaxation after our tumultuous first year living in the RV. My husband was sick and in bed, so it was a perfect opportunity to raid my bookshelf and dust off a book I've been putting off reading for a couple years. I opened up my cut flower garden book by Floret Farm's Erin Benzakine, and I immediately remembered why I bought the book in the first place. I freaking love flowers. I also love my ducks. And while that may seem totally unrelated, it's actually so perfectly intertwined. Hillside Cottage Stead was supposed to be a small scale, organic, regenerative farm that farmed ducks for eggs and meat, and also some produce on the side. That's what we set out to accomplish this past summer, but we failed. We found out that our ducks and geese were more interested in eating our produce instead of the bugs that they were supposed to help us rid. But interestingly, they left our flowers alone. We mostly grew flowers to attract pollinators and maybe make a couple of random bouquets out of. So, my experience with growing a full blown cut flower garden is pretty non existent. But we're going all in this year because Steve went buck wild after I presented him with the idea of farming flowers with our ducks instead of produce. While he was laying in bed sick, I think we watched every single cut flower garden video on YouTube, and it did not take long for this simmering idea to turn into a boiling pot of water. And before we knew it, we added to cart over 24,000 flower seeds and lots of dahlia tubers. I immediately got to work constructing a farm plan because you just don't buy 24,000 seeds and become successful by going about things willy-nilly, you know? First, I made a big long chart listing out every single variety of flower that we purchased. In the chart, I included the expected height of the plant, the days to germination, as well as the temperature it needs to germinate, when to plant out the seedling, the days to expected bloom, and how many seeds we have of that variety, and how many succession plantings we will do, and how many seeds we will start for each succession. I then use that chart to create a new chart listing all the weeks from now until our first frost in like late October. In this chart, I had a column for what seeds I'll be starting that week, what seedlings I'll be planting that week, and which bed they will be planted into, and also what blooms we can expect to see that week, inshallah. I also included a little section for what I'm going to be sewing in my studio that week so that I can balance my dressmaking business with my farm. I wanted to create a really easy way to track what we were doing on the farm this year. That way we can analyze what works best for us. I also wanted to use this chart as a weekly to-do list for Steve and I. That way we can easily refer to it and not spend a single amount of mental energy juggling what seeds are being started, how old they are, when they need to be planted, where the heck are they going to be planted. Like, I just know myself. And I know that if I'm going to juggle too much of the mental load, I'm going to end up super burnt out and probably with a lot of dead flowers. So I spent a good 2 weeks-ish working about 3 to 5 hours a day on this farm plan so that inshallah this summer we can complete everything we need to without getting burnt out. So today I'm starting some of our Lisianthus and Snapdragon seeds. Lisianthus takes a good 5 months or so from seed to bloom, so that's why I'm starting these seeds right now in January. And the Snapdragons will be planted in early spring under some low tunnels so that we can get some blooms for bouquets by Mother's Day, inshallah. As I work on seed starting, Steve is working on tilling all the duck compost into our half-acre garden space. And with every single seed that I'm starting today, my hope grows a little bit more. There's a chance one of these seeds will grow into a soft, fragrant, colorful flower. That flower may be sold to a local florist to be put in a bouquet. That bouquet might be bought by a loving husband and placed on the table and arranged by a wife so full of appreciation. The flower could also end up in an archway over bride and groom committing their lives to each other and will forever be featured in their wedding photos. And I will have grown it. My ducks will have fertilized that. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would have written that flower into existence to go exactly where it was meant to go. And just like that, we became flower farmers.